Hey guys, welcome to Club Cal Online. My name's Grace and I'm here with Stephanie and we're going to take you through a lower body mobility class. All you need for this one is a yoga mat or some comfortable floor space. We'll be doing lots of things on the floor today, so make sure you have a comfortable space. And then we have yoga blocks. If you have a yoga block, grab it. If you don't, a soccer ball or a volleyball or a rolled up towel, something that you can kind of squeeze between your knees and between your feet to create some tension. So really almost any object with just a little bit of give will work for that. All right, you ready to get started? Yep. All right, let's do it. We're gonna start by just taking some jumping jacks just to start to warm up those legs. And we're gonna go for about 30 seconds. We're gonna work a lot of hip mobility, obviously internal, external rotation, a lot of active mobility today as well, and then we will finish with some slower stretches. This is a great one for really anyone in any case, but if you sit a lot or do a lot of running, a lot of lifting with the lower body, a great way to keep those hips really healthy. Let's take those cross jacks. So we're gonna bring one hand on top, one foot on top. Good, and this is the most cardio you'll be doing all of class, I'm pretty sure. I just like to make sure that those muscles and those hip joints are super warm before we really get into it. Let's take about 10 more seconds here, because if you're not jumping for whatever reason, just a side step is totally fine. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Next one we're going to do is just some side lunges. So you're going to take those legs nice and wide, a little bit wider than shoulder width. Both heels are on the ground. You're going to bend into one side, go as low as you can, keeping that heel down, come back to center and over to the other side. And we're going to go for about 30 seconds on this one. Yep, coming all the way up through the center. And if you're watching Stephanie, you'll notice her mobility is awesome. She is getting almost all the way to the floor, which is really impressive. That might not be you today, and that is okay. If your range of motion is really small, maybe it looks like this, that's all right. Go to where your body can go today. Try to keep the heel on the ground as best as possible so that we're keeping the pressure out of the knees. How's that feel so far? Good. Good. Let's do a couple more reps here, about 5 more seconds. If you do feel it in the knees in a bad way, maybe smaller range of motion, or really sit your hips back so the weight is in your heel. Good, and go ahead and rest. Next up, we're just gonna do some reverse lunges. So you'll start with feet together. You're gonna step back into a lunge. You can come all the way down or just as low as you're comfortable, and then feet back together. And we're gonna do this for about 30 seconds as well. And all we're doing is just warming up the legs here. Good, maybe getting a little bit of hip flexor stretch at the bottom. Excellent. We want to make sure that front heel stays down as well, really driving through the heel, squeezing the glutes, keeping the chest up tall. Awesome. Good, good. Let's take one more rep per side. And then we're going to go ahead and go down into that lunge. Doesn't matter which side you start with because we're going to do both. And we're going to take a little stretch here. So whatever leg is forward, Steph and I both have our right legs forward. So I'm going to take my opposite hand to the floor. And I'm just going to twist up towards the ceiling with that right arm. And I'm just going to hold it. Sinking the hips down and forward. Rotate the rib cage up towards the ceiling. Should feel a lot of stretching through the hips. Maybe through the lower back a little bit as well. Keep holding, keep twisting. We're just gonna pause here for a moment. And you can find some movement here if that feels good too. You can take some bounces with the hips, maybe some bounces with that arm. Feel free to do whatever feels good here. We're just warming up. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and switch sides. Get that other leg forward. So same setup. If your left leg is forward, your right hand is coming to the floor, vice versa. And then you're just gonna open up into that twist. And go ahead and take the liberty to do whatever feels good here. Maybe take those bounces like Steph is doing. She's taking some really small, just kind of pulses with the hips down towards the floor. Whatever feels good. Maybe you're just holding it. If you're really tight here, maybe you're up on that bottom fist or the hand can be on a yoga block. And I think this one feels really amazing. So if it does, enjoy it. If not, if this is a tough position for you, try to relax, try to take some deep breaths here. and release it. Okay, next what we're gonna do, this is one of my favorite hip mobility movements, is a duck walk. So let's actually start just by going into our low squat. Before we go into our duck walk, you're gonna find a squat and you're just gonna chill here, and you can do whatever feels good. You can shift side to side, you can push the knees open with the elbows. Now, both of us are super low in this squat. Your squat might be here, and that's okay, right? If you have something to hold on to, a chair or a wall, you can even keep your hands on the ground. Okay, if your squat is not at that depth yet, take it to wherever your body is gonna go today. Don't force a range of motion that's not there for you yet. And you guys can keep hanging in that squat position. I'm gonna show the duck walk and some different options. So if you're super mobile, like Steph will probably be pretty low to the ground when she goes into it, you're just gonna stay in that low squat and you're gonna take some steps forward. Okay, that's all it is. You can go wider, you can go narrower if you want, and you're just gonna kind of use whatever space you have. So we're just gonna use the length of our yoga mats to take a couple steps backwards and a couple steps forward. If this is really difficult for you, which this is a hard movement, keep your hands on the ground and just get the hips as low as you can. As you walk forward and back, use those hands for support. All right, we've got 30 seconds and go for it. Very nice, good. And if you're able to get your heels on the ground as you take those steps, that's great. That's a lot of ankle mobility. For some people, they have to stay up on their toes, and that's okay. This is a really intense movement on all the lower body joints, so if you need to stand up for a second and just kind of shake it out and then go back into it, it's all good. How you feeling, Steph? Good. She's like, I got this. Duck walks are her jam. She's making it look really easy. These are really not easy. They're a really difficult movement. She's raising the bar a little bit and lifting that chest. Let's go to the end of the mat and release. All right. The last warm-up movement we're gonna do, this one's a kind of a fun mobility flow. That will make those hips really good. So we're gonna start by bringing one leg forward, and we're gonna start in our front lunge with the back knee up. Okay, so we got right leg forward. We're gonna start by going into the twist that we did before. So we're twisting up with that right arm. Then you're gonna come through your front lunge and transition into your side lunge. So the front toes have to turn in. Drop the hips as low as you can. Remember, you can be up here. Then we're gonna transition back through that front lunge. You're gonna have to pop up that back heel into your twist. And we're just gonna work through this for about 30 seconds. Try to keep your hips as low as possible through the transition. Good, so front lunge, side lunge, front lunge, twist. Good, there's a lot going on here. You guys can watch Stephanie if you're still not sure what's going on. And again, if your hip mobility is like this, that's okay. You might not be getting super low. That's okay. Do the best you can. Use your hands for support if you need it. Good, and I think this one just feels amazing. Just getting those hip joints moving. Good, let's come back to center and then go ahead and switch sides. So now we got that other leg forward. And then same thing, we're starting in the front lunge. We're going into our twist, coming back through that front lunge, transitioning into side lunge. So that back heel is gonna pop up and then come down as you transition. Good. So smooth. Excellent. Steph's looking good. She's got that nice fluid movement. She's a dancer. I don't know if you can tell, but her movement is very fluid and very beautiful. That's not the case for all of us, right? If your movement's a little choppy and weird and you have to use your hands, it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just move in a way that feels good in those hips. 3, 2, and rest. Okay, now that the hips are nice and warmed up, we're gonna do some hip and glute activation exercises. And we're gonna start standing for this first series. And we're gonna be standing on one leg. So if you need something to hold on to, you can grab a chair and hold that out in front of you. You can have the wall off to the side. We're gonna make Stephanie balance and do this in the center of the room, so hopefully that's okay. But if you need something to hold on to, grab it. So the first one we're gonna do is a lateral leg lift. You're just gonna stand on one leg. The other leg is going to come out to the side, and we want to make sure that this leg is internally rotated, so the knee is pointing forward, not up towards the ceiling. And then all we're doing is we're going to lift and lower, and that's it. What we want to try to avoid is the chest dropping. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds per side, and let's do it. Good, and we're going slow here. Try to really give it a big squeeze at that end range of motion. So we're working that active, like active middle split movement here. Good, good, good. You can bend that standing leg a little bit. It doesn't have to be locked out. Beautiful. Slow movements here. These ones we don't want to rush through. We want to give all those muscles an opportunity to fire up. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go right into the other side. Same thing. Make sure the toe is pointed forward. Yeah. And if you feel a little wobbly, totally normal. We're working our hip stability, our knee stability, and also our ankle stability by standing on.